Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my podcast. I'm so glad to have the two of you here, Mr. and Mrs. Power Couple, doing big things out in California. How are you?
We're doing good, man.
Doing really good today. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad to have you here. Right before the podcast, we were actually just talking about a ChatGPT, and how about we start there? Tell me what have you been doing with ChatGPT?
You know what? I've been just kind of playing around with it, and just what I'm really using it for is content, which is pretty cool because you just pretty much ask what you want to write about, or what content you need. You just ask it and it writes it out for you, which is, I think, it's really cool. It kind of takes the guessing out of what am I going to post today or what am I going to do today, so, and I like I was mentioning to you, like right now, right before we jumped on, I kind of tested it out, just playing around. I asked ChatGPT to do a 52-week, I think it was content for a video blog. That's what it was. A 52-week content for a video blog, no more than 90 seconds long. And I just sat there and I let it watch, and dude, that thing was writing up the whole 52 weeks. I was like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't think I would do that though, because with how fast things are changing, whatever it writes now, it might not be accurate in 4 months, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm trying to use it more for I don't want, I try to go a little bit on the generic, like the general level. Like, I feel like if you're talking about, if you're trying to tell my thing is education. So whenever I use it, I'm like, okay, my mindset is how can I provide education or value to a client, and through education. So I was like, okay, what's the steps to buying a home? That's not really going to change. What type of paper do you need to qualify for a loan? That's going to be the same. And just the home inspection process and different things, right? ChatGPT actually writes all that out, and it's crazy, dude. I feel like ChatGPT is the ultimate version of who I was in 7th grade, where they'd be like, write a 2-page paper and it'd be so much fillers. I would fill it up, bro, with so many filler words. This is super awesome, marvelous, fantastic. And then, but that's ChatGPT, I feel like, in a nutshell. We're using the free version or the paid version?
I just have the version that I signed up with. I guess the free version. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
I'm using that for now. But
I didn't even know
that
the paid version.
Yeah.
Neither.
Yeah, so there's a version that's $20.
Oh,
And I hear it's super powerful, but I'm waiting for ChatGPT 4 to come out. I think that one's gonna be even more powerful.
That should be
Before
released. That should be released pretty soon, right?
I think it's in a few months. So I was talking to Tristan. I think Tristan was talking about it. It's going to be in a couple months and they'll release it. So I'm excited about it. He was also talking about this platform Notion. I don't know if you've seen, have you seen Notion?
I've heard about it, but I haven't really had the time to look into it, man. I've been super busy lately, but yeah, I definitely want to look into it. I don't know what it does. I just heard that it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's an AI. So it's a similar thing to ChatGPT, but I think it's more real estate related.
Okay.
Dude, I just switched over. I wanted to say this on here because I just switched over to Chime, and I just want to say that shit is badass.
Time is good, man. I was in communication with them earlier in the year, and unfortunately, life sometimes throws some curveballs at you. We had some personal stuff going on that I couldn't jump on right away, but I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't, because I wouldn't have been able to do anything for like the first 2 months either way.
Yeah.
So I am gonna definitely look into it. My only thing with like I mentioned to you in the past, like jumping into a new CRM, man, I got over 4,000 contacts on my CRM, and all of them had text messages that we've connected with at some point or another, notes, and I've had to I had to switch CRMs when I was like at 2,000 contacts, and that was a headache, dude. So I'm like, man, at 4,000, holy crap, I needed to like hire some VAs or something to really transfer all the data for me.
It's actually pretty easy. I did it myself and it was pretty quick. And all the texts and the calls, I just put it in the notes tab. So it's all there. It's not like I lost anything. So it's pretty cool. I think for me, the biggest deciding factor was, how long do I want to be a high paid salesperson, right? And as long as, and I was talking about this earlier with another realtor who's high level, was as long as I make the phone calls, I'm still a business, I'm just a salesperson. But once I can get away from the calls, I get to be a business person.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
now I don't physically have to do that. And that's the intention, right? And I think we always try to start with the end in mind. And figure out what is that future vision that I want to be at. And I don't want to freaking make phone calls for 40 years.
Yeah.
I noticed your home expired. When do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home? Like I don't want to do that forever. So that's the whole intention of why I went in there. Anyways, let's move past that. Welcome. And so
That can
George,
be a whole nother podcast.
that literally can be a whole nother podcast. So George and Gina, I know both of you guys are in real estate. How long have you guys been in real estate?
Oh man, you've been in for a while.
It's been a lot of years in different departments. I used to be an escrow officer. That was lastly, and then I got my real estate license back in 2013
2013.
or
Yeah.
14.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, since then. And you got it around the same time too.
I got my license a little bit before Gina. So yeah, it's been about I'm going on 10 years that I've had my license. But the funny thing was that I was already working in real estate before I had my license. So I was, on shadowing people and stuff like that. I guess I guess you can't really say working in real estate because I couldn't do transactions, but I was already involved and I got to sit in on appointments, listing appointments and stuff like that. So I was like, man, this is cool. I really like this. And I was at a point where I had to make a career change because of my previous job. I was, don't get me wrong, I was getting paid well and I had great benefits. I had, the whole, what they say, or how they used to say it was like the perfect job.
Yeah,
But-
you had 401k, retirement, vacation, pension. Wait, so you didn't get into real estate right out of high school, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And so even like when the 2007, 2008 crash happened, I got to see a lot of my realtor friends fall out of the business. So I was like, man, at that time I had a job, like I said, and but even though like I've always had like an itch for it, but just never really jumped into it until a little bit after Gina and I got together. That's when I got really into it. Well, her brother's a broker and he's the one that really like he was like my first mentor. And very grateful that he guided me and showed me a lot in the beginning. So after that, I just fell in love with it, man. And yeah, I left my job. I left the perfect job, and people thought I was freaking crazy for leaving the perfect job. But the thing was that I've always had this drive and hunger. So when I did leave my job per se, I supplemented my income right away. So for me, it was like the perfect move.
Nice, man. So why did you move? Was it like you're just tired of having the perfect job and you wanted to challenge yourself, or?
Yeah, well, you know what? So, there was a couple things. So where I used to work at before, I was in operations, but I used to have to walk a lot. So I ended up having to get a couple surgeries done on my feet because of that. And it wasn't like you're walking in comfortable Nikes or Adidas or whatever. I had to walk around in steel toes because it was a big warehouse.
Yeah.
And the steel toes are not the most comfortable shoes to walk in. So yeah, I developed some I forgot what they're called. They were called neuromas. I developed neuromas on my feet, and I had to get surgery. So that was the first thing. The second thing was that I came to a realization that I'm only going to get paid what they allow me to get paid. And I was like, dude, like this is like, I know I deserve more than this. My family, my kids deserve more than this. And I just felt like I could do a lot more and a lot better on my own. And, and I've always, growing up, my parents had a business, all my uncles had businesses from both my mom's and my dad's side. So I always had a entrepreneurship mentality. And even as a young kid, 16 years old,
Business
at 12 years old, I had my own business. I started a DJ business, and I was DJing a bunch of weddings and, quinceañeras, all that stuff. And then I got into the club scene at 16. I was 16 years old DJing the 21 over club. Like you know, so I mean, my skills were there, and yeah, and even the music business I'm still involved with now. I own a record label, and that's still running. And you know, it's I've always had that entrepreneurship mentality. But you know, just like anything else, you know, I was working and I got comfortable, got complacent, and I did that for 15 years, man. And I was just like, man, like I look back at it, and I look back at it, what would I've done if I would have been in the business those 15 years in real estate? But I also believe in there's no coincidences, there's reasons why things happen, and I just come to the realization that it just wasn't my time to be in real estate.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think about the same thing, dude. I can't even imagine being like an 18, 19-year-old kid getting freaking 10, $15,000 checks, bro.
Jesus.
I would be acting a fool. I'd be in Mexico all the time. Mexico,
Oh.
Miami,
Oh,
LA.
trust me, dude. Trust me. I made a lot of money DJing. I was DJing a lot of clubs, and I was traveling a lot too. So I was DJing clubs I DJ clubs in Chicago, New York, Florida, Texas, had a residency in Mexico at Papas and Beer in Rosarito.
Really?
Yeah, I was there for 10 years. And then I had a residency in San Francisco too for about 4 years that I'll go out there twice a month. So I mean, I was not like a EDC type of DJ, but I was, you know, I made a lot of good contacts. So I was making some really, really good money during that time. And just like you said, I was young and dumb and just acting a fool with all my money, you know, instead of saving it or investing it actually.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's, and I'm not saying that it's great to party all the time, but I think that now as you get older, like even myself, like I don't have the urge to be like, hey, let's go to Dre's, like let's go to wherever, let's go to Hakkasan. You know, I don't have the urge. I just want to be home at bed with babies, the kids, the family, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah.
definitely in a different level, you know,
Yeah.
of adulthood.
That's for sure. And I still enjoy it every now and then. I just did a gig a few weeks ago and it was fun. I mean, I had a really good time, and you know, my wife was there and we had some friends there, and you know, if I get to do it once a quarter, I'm cool. It just kind of gets that, you know.
Ask for permission first.
I get my fix and I'm good, and that's it. I mean, it's just a part of me, man. I mean, music's always going to be a part of me, but
Mhm.
I did learn a lot of entrepreneurship during that time, and a lot about business, being your own boss, and you know, I've always liked that. So how I got complacent with an actual job, I don't know. Like I said, it just wasn't my time, but I'm here now, and you know, we're pretty good at what we do.
Yeah, I think it had to do with your environment too. You're surrounded by, you
Yeah.
know, the people that you work with, and you just start becoming like that. So
Yeah,
that's probably what, you know, partially.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I talk about this all the time, especially when we're coaching like the newer agents. And I have to remind myself a lot. It's like your goals are important, right? I feel like they give you a map, but it's more so your environment. You really have to be planted in the right soil. If you're not planted in the right soil, you're not going to grow. And
Yeah.
the greatest analogy for this is wine. You know, you can put wine wherever you want. You can grow it in the backyard if you wanted to, but it's worth so much more when you put it in Sonoma, Napa, take it to France, right? Take it to Burgundy. You're going to have high value wine. So that's why it's always like, all right, am I in the right soil so that I can grow into that future vision of myself? And then
Yeah.
that's what I think about, because your environment is everything. I think your environment is the number one factor of if you're going to be successful or not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And I think once you're mindful of it and you're aware of it, you're able to make, you know, certain changes to, you know, not completely eliminate everyone around you, but you're a little more conscious as to how much time you spend with the people around you. And especially people that are not, you know, really seeing your vision or understanding the steps that you're taking. That's important too.
Yeah. That's another principle in real estate, right? Or in entrepreneurship. Don't
Yeah.
spend a lot of time with the unmotivated. You know, that's one of the top rules, you know. Don't spend a lot of
100%.
time. Then
Yeah.
you see the car salespeople, you know, if you see somebody walk in and they're just playing games, so you're gonna walk away. Like who's actually motivated? There's plenty of motivated people out there. So
Mhm.
that's who we want to align ourselves with. I love
Absolutely.
it. So you've been in since 2013. So man, you're actually, is that 10 years?
10 years,
Yeah,
bro.
10 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Wow,
10
that's
years.
exciting, man. Did you, I'm curious, right? And I like to ask this to people. Did you just explode your first year, do 100 deals, or was it a slow progression, or how did your career go?
No, like I said, the first year, well, this is the thing. When I started real estate, I kind of already knew the stats that an average agent usually only sells 3 to 4 houses a year. That was kind of like the average stat, and I think it's still average nationwide.
Mhm.
So I already knew that coming into real estate. And the thing that was crazy that I started selling real estate part-time while I still had while I was still working at my other job. So the day that I left, that following week I closed 2 escrows. So I made probably like 5 times more than I did at my monthly income at my job. And I was like, screw this, you know, I need to jump on this, you
You
know?
got a taste of it.
Yeah. So
Dang.
so yeah, that first year full time though, I think I only sold like 8 or 9 homes. I don't remember exactly, but it was somewhere around there. And then the second year, yeah, we sold like, I think I sold like 14
Yep.
or 15.
The first year, I think you got your license around June or
No, it was in March. Oh, it
Was
was
it?
around this time. Yeah, so
Yeah,
exactly 10 years.
Ah, okay.
My birthday.
Nice, dude.
Anniversary.
Birthday's coming
Anniversary.
up.
There you go. Yeah. So yes, so it was like a slow progression because even though I was working full time in real estate, I was still learning a lot, and I was spending a lot of time on, you know, taking courses, going to seminars. You know, I was doing a lot of it myself, like just it's like, oh, Tom Ferry's doing something over here, let me go check it out for 3 days. And then, oh, Club Wealth is doing something over here, let me go over there for a few days. And actually through Club Wealth, that's where I met Tristan Almada. And I met Tristan Almada maybe like 2 years, like my second year in real estate. And just got, you know, we just clicked. And just by following Tristan, I got to learn a lot from him. One of the things that did happen though, like, because I got involved in coaching maybe after like my 4th or 5th year. No, I think it was my 5th year. I got involved with coaching, and I was like, I had been winging it the whole time, you know, like from year 1 to year 4, year 5, somewhere around there. I had been winging it, and even like that, I was selling 14, 15 homes a year, which, I mean, it wasn't bad, especially here in California. We were making, you know, $10,000, $15,000 commission checks. So I was still either making as much as where I was at before or making a little bit more. So since I was able to kind of like replace my income, I was fine, you know. But once I met Tristan, that I started following him, and then I started meeting, I met a few other people. That's when I met like some of the guys that were part of our old coaching program of Launch and Leverage. And, you know, and the first coaching company that I did join was Club Wealth, though, which was one that was affiliated with Tristan. Club Wealth, yeah, I went from selling 14 homes to like 18 homes or something like that. And just by making minor tweaks, I started picking up more clients. Obviously, by then I started making more relationships and whatnot. But when I did join actual coaching with where we met, that's when my sales went up from like 14 to like 28, you know, which was a pretty significant jump. And that was due to coaching, you know. So one of the things too that I was always told that, you know, I've always been around sports since I was a kid, and I've always been very athletic, you know, growing up. So I always knew Michael Jordan had a coach his whole career, a personal coach, aside from the team coach, a personal coach. Kobe Bryant always had a coach his entire career. Derek Jeter always had a coach. Some of the greatest athletes had personal coaches from the minute they start playing pro sports. They get their own personal coach aside from the team coach. And, you know, they had a coach all the way to the end of their career. So for me, it only made sense. Like, if I want to get to the next level, I need to have a coach that's doing more than I do, or that knows more than I do, for me to learn and for me to grow. And I've always kind of taken that approach with coaching, and it's always helped. And it doesn't just help me business wise, but it really keeps my mentality on check, and it keeps me accountable, and it really just keeps me focused on staying on task.
Mhm.
That's awesome, man. That's good stuff. So you jumped from 14 to 28. So you basically double your business because you had direction. Is that right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, I love asking questions like this, like
Yeah.
hypotheticals. So if I was a new agent and I wanted to compress the timeline of going from 0 to 28 very quickly, what would be like the top 3 things I need to do?
Coaching, number one.
Uh,
Coaching is definitely number one. Number two, mindset. And number 3, you have to be coachable. Let the ego go. You
Mhm.
have to put the ego aside. I mean, you're not going to grow.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
You're not going to grow if your
Yeah.
ego, if you're going to continue in business or in life with a certain ego, it's going to keep you there. The minute you let that ego go, you're going to see, you just see how much you broaden your mentality, not only just broaden your mentality, but you let a lot more in, and you're able to learn and capture a lot more,
Mhm.
because obviously when you have your ego, you're like, I already know this, and you don't learn. That's one of the things that I always have kind of like caught on to, that, we go to seminars all the time, we go to trainings all the time. A lot of times it's the same training, but every time I go, I learn something new that I didn't capture the last time I went, So I'm very open to any of that. And I've always said, like, the day that I tell myself I already know it all, that's the day I'm done. Like, at that point, either I gave up or I'm just retiring already at that point.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, man. Because when you have the ego, it's like you're not allowing yourself to vertically grow. You're basically disabling your verticals in a lot of areas, and you can't have it, man. I heard somebody say it's ego stands for edging God out, and I was like, man, that's really solid. Oh, that was Leo. Actually, that's what it was, dude. That was such a solid like line. I was like, man,
Yeah.
that's really really good.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
I'm gonna write it
Yeah,
down.
coaching is definitely a big thing, though, man. It's really huge. Like right now, I coach with Jose Savalsa. Jose Savalsa is my boy, man. Like
yep.
when I first joined Launch, Jose was my coach, and he was the one that actually helped us jump from 14 to 28. So I have a lot of respect for him, and he knows a lot about the business. Been in the business for a long time. But with him and John Kang, they're like, those are like my 2 coaches right now that I get a lot of guidance through. So I learned a lot from them.
Yeah, those guys are freaking smart. Like John is a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah, guy's a beast, man. He's a beast.
That's why he was the director of education at the last company before he moved. So
Yeah.
I loved it, man. When a couple years back when we were in Austin and he was talking about he just the way that he carried himself, the way that he spoke, the questions that he asked, it was just really good. I think one of the greatest skills that people don't really talk about, that I think all great entrepreneurs and leaders should learn, is the process of self-discovery questioning. So if you can lead with self-discovery questions, you could literally coach anybody on anything, because what Danny used to say all the time, the answer is already inside of us. We just, you just have to ask the right questions to pull it out.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
until I learned that skill set, the self-discovery skill set, and how to ask those right questions, I was like, man, you got to be kidding me.
You're like, I do know it all.
I already knew it. I just had to ask the right question, right?
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah, you grow to the level of questions you ask. So
I think that right now, I know a lot of people are just used to searching for the answer outside of you, and Googling, or I mean, I guess that helps to a certain extent, but at some point you have to really look within. And it's a skill, and it's not something that you're gonna, oh, got that, wrote it down, I'm just gonna do that. No, it's like a muscle. Like, you have to work at it every single day, because it's true. I mean, I think once you grasp that concept and you're able to tap into it and master it, it's huge. It's like you literally do have all the answers.
You literally do it. It's like, all right, well, let me come up with a crazy goal. Okay, maybe it's I want to sell 1,000 homes. Okay. So what if I could sell 1,000 homes? Okay, could I do it in 10 years? Okay, how would I do it in 10 years? All right, could I do it in 5? All right, well, how would that look like? Well, could I do it in 2 years? Yeah, and how would that look like, right? And you know what? Who's that person that's already there that has the answer? Can I speak with them? Well, yeah, probably speak with them. Could they give me the instructions? Yeah, they probably could.
Well,
And
this
now
is
I'm there.
the thing
Yeah.
that's crazy though, man. Like, and I'm pretty sure you've probably experienced this too, because we've been
Yeah.
around a lot of the same circles that very successful people, they're always willing to share.
Dude, all of
And
them,
and
all of them.
people are just afraid to go up and ask questions because they're like, oh, I'm just a nobody, I'm this, whatever. And that's ego talking. That's
Mhm.
the ego right there. No, I'm not gonna go ask because of this, blah, blah, blah. But dude, I've gone up to some very successful people, very successful entrepreneurs and investors, and hey, so how do you do this? Oh, well, look, this is what you have to do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Like, no way. You know, like you just, I mean, a lot of these very successful really entrepreneurs, they're willing to share. You just gotta ask, you know?
Mhm.
You just have to ask, man. And most people will just share it, which is such a blessing because
Yeah.
I feel like all the knowledge is out there. The thing that coaches sell you on is execution.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted the answer, you could literally Google the answer, but it's
Okay.
just you need help with the execution. You're paying somebody to discipline you. You're essentially hiring yourself a manager.
Yeah, pretty much.
Totally.
I mean, me and George are lucky. We ask our wives, hey, why? This is my goal. And if I don't hit it, get mad at me or something, you know? So
All right.
so it's easy. But anyways, let's transition. So I understand that Gina is in financial services now. Is that right?
Yes, it is. As of last year, George and I purchased a franchise from the Financial Architects, and yeah, we started off this other branch to our services, and we're really excited because this is something that we had talked about for a while, but we knew that it was going to take a lot of our time because it's just so much information. There's so much to learn. This is a completely new business for us, but we just felt that the value was just too great for us to pass up on. So we made the conscious decision together for me to, separate from real estate for the time being, so I could dedicate 100% of my time to really learning the different strategies, the legalities, the business, and pretty much head off this new venture of ours. So far it's been going very, it's like,
Good.
it's mind blowing because I really haven't like marketed myself the way I want to. And just with the clients that we're currently working with our immediate family, with friends, people that follow me on social media, everybody has expressed a big interest in something like this. So
Well,
basically, go ahead.
I was gonna say the thing is that it goes hand in hand with real estate.
Mhm.
So that's been one of the biggest things that we've discovered from getting into financial services.
Mm.
Yeah, and I guess my main mission in this and the reason why I was so passionate about getting involved in this type of business is because it just offers so much value. And I know George and I, when we did our planning, our estate planning, and we did our life insurance policies several years ago, it was really because a coworker like really pushed me into it. It came up in conversation and she said, oh, you're not protected, like you need to get protected. And she was a lot older than me and she's a friend that I look up to a lot. So she told me, it's kind of like, I feel like her daughter.
Yeah.
But she's amazing. And she's like, trust me, you're going to thank me. You're going to be grateful that you did this when you did it. And sure enough, when we, which, by the way, we did work with the Financial Architects when we did get our life insurance policy. So once we had it all set up, I really felt this sense of like relief and like I was able to,
I think more than anything, it was peace of mind.
like peace of mind. And I felt, okay, if anything happens to me, my kids are taken care of. If anything happens to me, vice versa with George, me and the kids are taken care of, and we don't have to really worry about, financially,
Yeah.
just,
Now I can go skydiving with no worries.
no.
Perfect, perfect.
But just that feeling that I felt, I was like, this is something that I want to share with everybody else.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the people that I've brought it up to or that have approached me about it, it's something that they've always thought about, something in the back of their head that's always like, you should look into this, you should look into this. So I'm happy to be able to provide the service for them. And really, for me, it's just about getting them protected. Like, that's the bottom line. Like, it's not even so much like of course it's a business and everything. And, we want to be able to be okay with that. But it's more about just exposing them or having that exposure of, life insurance policies. Yes, they are for your, death benefit or what have you, but they're so versatile that you could use them for so many different other things. And that's one of the things that I wasn't aware of.
Different strategies.
So so once I started really diving deep, I started, learning different ways of using policies for, cash value. A lot of these policies have living benefits. So especially for families that have, only one breadwinner in the family, if something were to happen to that person, like what's going to happen to the stay-at-home mom and the kids. So living benefits are definitely like super important for people in that situation. But yeah, it's one of those things where every day I think I learned something different.
Yeah.
And it keeps it exciting, it keeps it fresh. And
bro, some of these strategies that we've learned in the last few months, you and I've had discussed this before, but man, infinite banking, velocity banking, I mean, these are strategies that the wealth use to stay wealthy and keep growing their wealth. It's amazing, like what you can do.
So what is that stuff? I'm asking as somebody who's listening and has never had this conversation. So what is, whichever one you're comfortable with, what's infinite banking or velocity? Can you explain that at all?
Well, infinite banking.
Yeah, so it's basically a whole life policy that's just there's different strategies on using whole life policies. One of them is infinite banking, like you literally become your own bank. So instead of borrowing from the bank to purchase a car or what have you, like you borrow from your own bank. Velocity banking is a strategy that is used to pay off debt a lot faster. Like you could literally cut your mortgage in half, or even
even regular debt,
even less, and then just regular debt as well. I mean, that goes very like complex, so that's probably like another podcast.
That's an entire different topic.
Another podcast. Yeah. But just different strategies in that way. Another one that I'm really focused on right now is having children covered with a life insurance policy, because of course, the older we are, the more expensive the policies are. And then, the older we are, we develop certain conditions, maybe get into accidents and stuff. And then it might, your ability to qualify, it can be a little difficult sometimes. But when children get approved for a policy, I mean, most children are very healthy. And aside from that, the cost of policy is very low.
So sorry, not to cut you off. Sure. So just to clarify, because I don't know this, right? So children can get life insurance policies?
Yes, as infants. Even
after 10 days,
I think it's 10 days of birth.
Yeah, after 10 days of birth, they can get a permanent policy.
Yeah, they could get a permanent policy, a whole life policy, and start contributing in the since then. And with these policies have cash value, so the cash value in these policies compound within, so it's compound interest year after year after year.
Wow.
But aside from that, they're very inexpensive because that rating for that child carries on until adulthood.
And
So-
and you've had clients that get approved like instantly, huh?
Oh, yeah, sometimes it takes like 2 hours. So like
For
in,
kids.
yeah,
For kids. So
Yeah.
you get a
I
kid
think-
that's like 2 years old, they can get approved for a policy. And does that payment stay all the way till they're 60, or does it change when they become 18?
no, it's all dependent on how you want it illustrated. That's the beauty of it. So your design may be different from George's and mine. So it all depends on what you'd like, and it's just designed properly. And yeah, definitely.
Wow, that is huge. So I can get my kids a life insurance, whole life permanent policy.
Yeah.
And they can keep that same payment for basically forever. And then what's the advantage of getting it? I mean, they're gonna live anyways, right?
They're what again?
So what's the advantages of getting it while they're young? Like,
Well,
What's
first
the
of all,
advantage?
you lock in their insurability because, once you get older, certain things may come up health-wise. So they're insured. And then another thing is that, they have also the living benefits available to them. You get to, if you're gonna have an account for like college, your permanent policy could be that account. And unlike other college saving plans, with a life insurance policy, you're able to use the cash however you'd like. So if your child decides 18, you know what, Mom, I do not want to go to college, I want to start a small business, you could tap into the cash value and start your small business. Or you want to, they want to buy a car or what have you, like they could do anything they want with the money that's been accumulating in the cash value over the years. So
One of
and-
the best parts though is that like Gina mentioned is locking in the rate. And
Mhm.
because if you lock in the rate of a child, maybe a year old with the policy, 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line, you want to expand that policy, get a better policy, a bigger policy, bigger death benefits, or you want something where your money's going to compound even more,
Mhm.
you can roll over that policy into a new policy and they keep that same rating as when they originally got it at a year old. So they keep that cost of insurance.
Insurance.
wow, so you can lock your kids in to a fixed rate or a fixed, I guess, cost every single month.
Mhm.
And they can use that instead of just getting like, those what are they called? The college funds. You can just use your life insurance one instead and then borrow against it once they become of age. And they
Yes.
decide they don't want to do it. They're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna travel to Europe. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe they want to go into the entrepreneurial field. Maybe they want to can they buy a house with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's all tax free.
Wow. So it gets taxed up front. Is that what it is?
No, well, you're already using money that's already been taxed.
Yeah.
So, and actually in these policies, it's the gains that are
Tax free.
tax-free as well. So you don't have to pay any taxes on any of the gains. So
Wow.
that's the big one right there.
That's a huge one. So you don't pay gains on compounding interest.
No.
So, and you don't have to answer this if you don't know. Do you know what's the average like over a certain period of time? Like how much does it usually compound?
Well, it depends on your contribution
Of
also.
course, yeah.
So I mean, it's all depending on how much it is, but there are designs that we have for a child to start a policy like this. And by the time he retires, it'll be over $1 million in their cash value.
Mm,
So
Very
there are designs, they're called $1 million baby designs.
Yeah.
And it's definitely possible. It's just about people being aware that this even exists and taking advantage of it.
And as long as the policy is designed properly too, because that
Mm.
plays a big part of who designs the policy and how they design it. That's very, very huge.
Mhm.
But yeah, Gina's very she's very well experienced now with how to design these policies the right way.
yeah, it seems like she's crushing it, man. So that's super awesome. And I mean, to be honest, before I spoke to you guys, I didn't realize how you can leverage life insurance like that. Because I just know one of my buddies called me a million times, took me to lunch, breakfast a couple times, and now this fool doesn't call me back. That's another story though. But still, that's all I knew. I just knew, okay, I got some protection and we're good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it seems like you're offering, multiple services. What is either your top three that you're offering or your favorite three?
Your favorite three?
Well, I think my favorite one's for children.
Yeah.
Because I have two, well, they're not babies anymore.
But you're the mom
but
though.
I'm the mom. I have two, an adult and a teenager.
Mhm.
But, I think for me, if I would have known about this back then, I would have definitely taken advantage of it.
Got enough for the kids at an very
yes.
early age. Yeah.
Yes. And the other one, I think it's just protecting yourself with a permanent policy and taking advantage of the living benefits. I think everybody could benefit from that.
Yeah.
Even if, you own your own business, and you're out with a critical illness and you're not able to work, what happens to your business? Like, who else is going to be bringing in business or taking over your position? It's just a great way to supplement your income while you're getting better. And so that's another one.
So
and
people can
That's
actually take the
that's
time.
living benefits.
Yes, the living
benefit.
benefits. So somebody can actually take the time to recover properly, because I could just tell you this from experience from where I used to work. People would go out on surgeries, and because they were so afraid of taking too much time off, man, am I going to get fired or whatever? They would come back to work still hurt
Yeah.
or not fully recovered, and then 6 months down the line they get hurt again. And so one of the great advantages that Gina and I really love about this is the living benefits. You get heart attack, stroke, cancer, any of that. It's so common.
And it's
now.
just so common. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot about, people having strokes and young people. I mean, I still consider myself young.
Yeah.
And people
You're
are,
young. You're very
yeah.
young.
I appreciate that. So yeah, heart attacks, stroke is another one. It's like, we've heard so many of people that we know that have had strokes. And having something like this in place it's an unfortunate situation, but at least it'll be, a little more, bearable as far as like the costs have to do with supplementing the cost with
mortgages or car payments or whatever the case is,
helping with your overhead on that.
That's very cool.
Yeah, cancer is one of the big ones right now too, because I don't know if you're aware, but the current stats are that out of 10 people, 4 out of 10 people are going to have cancer in their lifetime right now, and that's a fact, and that's pretty scary if you ask me.
Scary.
Yeah, that's scary. My father-in-law is dealing with that right now. So yeah, it's like, dude, it's everywhere. 2 out of 5. And I don't know if it's hereditary. I don't know if it's a diet. I can't tell. Either way, I'm choosing not to participate in cancer. So I don't know if that's possible. I'm just letting my subconscious know that we are not going to do that.
We do not go there. Nope.
If I do participate eventually in the future, I should have life insurance I have life insurance, but I should have life insurance if I do plan on participating in cancer later on. All right. So you said that getting the kids the life insurance policy, getting kids policy, living, what's it called?
Living benefits for
Living
adults.
Living benefits is your second one. So what would be your third one that you see that it's either a favorite one or a lot of people are asking for it?
I think the third one has to do with your retirement, and it's a 2-part answer. So the first part is it's never too late to start. And I know some people are kind of like, oh, I'll do it next year. And then it's like you're 55 and you have no retirement plan. That's definitely something to think about at any age. And of course, the earlier and the younger you are to start planning on it, the better. But if you're 45, 40, 50, like it's never too late. There's definitely many strategies for that. And I think the second one is I've come across a lot of people that have old 401ks 403Bs that they, that they just have there from a previous job. And those type of policies, those are retirement policies, right? But they are attached to the stock market. And if, been at all like, aware of what's going on in the stock market, it's very volatile right now. So you may have, let's say $60,000 in a 401k. If the stock market takes a hit, you're going to take a hit too. So it might take you like several years to come back to the amount that you had originally. So there are other
Options.
vehicles and options where you could roll over those old 401ks, 403Bs, or what have you, into these new type of vehicles that will guarantee your money. So will not lose anything. You only participate in the gains. You don't participate in the losses. And it's a much safer route, especially right now, seeing what the stock market is doing. So I'd say that that's probably the third one that I've been
Really
helping
working right
with
now. Yeah.
the most. Exactly.
Is transitioning the 401ks into
Yes.
another vehicle, and the vehicle's called what?
It's a type of IRA called annuities. So,
Okay.
yeah, and that's another.
It's a whole nother topic too, but
But there
yeah.
are options. There are options, and it's amazing how many people have. Oh, I have an old
401k. Yeah.
and I think I lost some money. I don't know. Let me check. And then they check, like, oh shoot, like I lost $20,000
Yeah.
just like that.
I tell this story to people that people I have a couple people that I know that have quite a bit of money saved up in an old retirement account, and they have it ran aggressively on the stock market. And they're just getting bad advice, and they don't want to move it, they don't want to touch it. But if you look at the way the stock market's been the last year, they've already lost over 200,000, almost $250,000. And they're still very like, no, they're telling me not to move and not to touch it. And I told this person like a year ago, let me protect that money for you, man. Right now, he would have been up rather than down.
Mhm.
And but you know what I mean? We can only let people know about it. I mean, we don't force people to do anything they don't want to do. But man, I just wish like some people would like actually listen to really try to save their retirement, man, because $250,000 is not like I just lost $10, to get those $250,000 back that they just lost, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. And just a good example is if you lose 10%, if you're at $100, you lose 10%, you're at $90. But if you gain 10% at $90, you're at 99. So it takes like an extra 11, it takes you 11 or 12% for you to actually recover. So it takes more to recover than it is to lose. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, so it's just an interesting stat. So if I'm listening to this podcast right now and I am, I don't know, under the age of, I guess you said any age can start. If I'm under the age of 50, or actually, you know what? Can we do this? Can we go 0 to 8, 0 to 20, and then maybe 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40? Do we have different strategies for each?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So if I'm 0 to 20, what are we doing? What would I do if I'm 0 to 20?
Yeah, so you definitely want to get into a permanent policy with cash value on it, because that policy is forever as long as you're alive. I would definitely say that would be the number one thing from 0 to 20. From 20 to, what did you say, to 30?
20, 30, yeah.
20, 30, or 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, by that time you're already working, you're creating income for yourself. And at that point, you could probably start a different policy just geared for your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So you could look at whole life, also
Index annuities too.
annuities, and
Sorry.
yeah, but
index
remember that
also.
you could have as many policies as you like.
Yeah.
You don't have to just have one or
Oh,
two.
okay. So I can have multiple.
You could
Yeah.
have multiple, and each one having a purpose. You have one policy or two just geared for your retirement. You could have another policy like, we're talking about infinite banking for your investments. So there's different strategies that you could use with all these policies. It's just a matter of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could just strategize, a plan for you.
Wow, okay, so what if I'm I like playing this game, I'm gonna play it one more time. What if I was 18-year-old kid, I don't have anything, but I would like to make $1 million by the time I'm 40?
Oh, damn, we would need to really like sit down and like
sit down.
for something like that, we would have to like really crunch the numbers and really play around with the numbers in order to come up with the best strategy. Like that's the thing with anytime any kind of financial service, it's not just the one answer for everything. You know, everything,
That's true.
there's not, because what might work for you might not work for me. What might work for me might not work for her.
Well, yeah, everybody
know,
has different goals.
Everybody has different goals,
Yeah.
different
And I guess that's
different
kind of how we
ideas.
start with each one of our clients, like, what
Yeah.
are your goals?
what are your goals? Yeah.
So what are your goals? And then, like you said earlier, you just reverse engineer from there.
One
Yeah.
of the things we
Mhm.
do stress to people though, like, because a lot of people think that life insurance is super expensive, like to get coverage is super expensive, but there are ways to get very affordable coverage. And we always stress to people that if they're on a budget, tight budget,
Mhm.
like you can still get some kind of a coverage on a budget, but get something, because we've seen it more than a handful of times that you know, you have the breadwinner of a family. It's a family, you know, husband, wife, and they have 3 kids.
Mhm.
And then you know, the breadwinner is the husband. So then something happens and he suffers a stroke or suffers a heart attack or gets into some type of accident and cannot move or something. We've seen families tear apart because of finances. And
Yeah.
it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to see and for people to go
And
through.
we just went through that with a client of ours.
It was sad, man.
They came into my office twice and I sat with them twice, and they were just needing to clear things up amongst them, and they were just kind of dragging their feet, and I did as much follow-up as I could, you know, and the wife suffered a stroke right before Christmas.
Mhm.
And yeah, and they
That's
weren't
awful.
able to get, yeah, like it's still like it hurts my heart when I heard about that. It's like, oh, I just had this like, man, well, there's only so much I could do. There's only so much I could, you know, follow up with someone. And if they're not reciprocating, then, you know, I'm not going to give up on them. It's just, okay, well, let me just follow up with them at another time. But, you know, the person on the other end needs to have that interest to go along with a plan and to see the benefit in it and to act swiftly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, the same thing like in real estate. There's only 5 to 7% of people who move every year. And all we can do is just be, you know, just be ready for those people and just guide them and educate them. Like, I think education is the greatest resource that we can provide to someone, and just care about them. Let me just keep caring on you, keep giving you
Yeah.
education.
Mhm.
And when you decide to walk through this door and make it happen, you know, then you will. So
Yeah.
very cool. Well, I know that we can go on for another 12 to 15 hours, especially if we have George lead the conversation, but I know we're getting short on time.
I'm gonna do my
So
homework.
what's I always ask this, what's the intentions for the next, what's the intentions for the next 3 years or next year? Like, what's your big goals you got going on?
Real estate wise, I definitely want to grow the team again. You know, I did have a small team in the past, and unfortunately, you know, things happen, gotta dismantle it sometimes. But I definitely want to restructure the team, definitely do it the right way this time. You know, I do have the proper guidance with how to do everything the right way. And then also, you know, we're all in a mastermind together where, you know, we help each other out with that too. So that's definitely one of the goals for me to grow the team, and definitely in a few years to be more of the like handling like the lead gen, passing on the lead gens, making sure that the people on our team constantly not just have leads but clients, and they're, you know, they're constantly working, constantly closing. That way they can earn a good living, we can earn a good living, and everybody's winning. You know, have that win-win strategy with the team.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. A win-win situation is always the best type of situation.
Yeah.
Um,
And with
I was
financial
I was
service,
actually gonna tell you this the other day about the sheet that I made. I don't know if I sent it to you, about the buy back your time.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't know if you sent to me, but I think you sent it in the group, didn't you?
Yeah, I sent it in the group. So basically, I've been reading that book where you audit your activities, you transfer them, and then you fill it, right? So you want to fill, so you basically audit your week. Okay, what did I do this week that probably shouldn't have been doing? Do I need to put a system in place? Do I have a tool that can replace me, or is there a person that can replace me? And just looking at it every single week, dude, you're gonna become so hyper efficient. So I have actually I have it on a weekly emailer for us now. Every Saturday at 9 a.m. You're gonna get it. Reflect on your week. How can I improve? So that way you can trade the admin work, that $15-20 an hour work, and go put in lead gen or whatever else it is. So anyways,
That's great for accountability too.
Yeah, it is.
That's great for accountability too. So yeah, I'm gonna go back into the group and get it, or if you can shoot it to me, that'd be cool.
yeah, I'll send it over. Anyways, so that's real estate. You're gonna get your team going. You guys are gonna get to 200 deals in the next 3 years easily.
That's the goal, yeah. That's the goal, 200 plus for sure.
Mhm.
And that's the thing too, like one of the things that I've learned is like, you got to put it out there, man. You got to put it out there and declare it, you know?
And now it's on YouTube, bro. So I mean,
That's everywhere.
It's out there.
That's definitely
now
out
it's everywhere, bro. March 2026. I'm gonna check back at your goals.
Yes, we'll look back in 5 years.
Is it March 20th today?
March 2026. It's the 9th.
It's the 9th.
Yeah, yeah. We'll put a calendar invite, man. It's fun. So
You're gonna give me a few days then. Cool.
yeah, man. And then so for financial services, I feel like you have so much growth potential because it's just I feel like you're at that foundation stage right now.
Yeah, I definitely am. I think next for me, I'm really for sure having to release a YouTube channel because there's just so much content, and I'm definitely I am those type of people that go into rabbit holes. So I want somebody to stumble across my stuff and totally binge everything and get educated, and just awareness of all these different strategies and policies and ways of protecting themselves, and it is in the plan to start a team as well. I definitely want to create the opportunity for other people to make a living, and at the same time helping others. So that's definitely in the plans to do. But yeah, I mean, there's just I think right now I am in a good place right now where I've got the hang of the business so far, but there's just so much room for growth, and I'm really excited to see what the end of the year is going to bring.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Let's end it here. What is a quote or a theme you're using for the year?
You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You can go first.
I actually have it right here.
I have it written
This is-
too.
It's the one, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's this one right here. I look at
Okay.
it every day, and that's that quote from Henry Ford.
And what does it say?
If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. Because
love
it's all mindset. It's like, if you tell yourself that you cannot do it, it's never gonna happen. But if you tell yourself that you can do it, you'll figure out a way to do it every single time.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Gina, what's your quote or theme for the year?
So I usually put either 3 words or 3 statements for every year. And this year it was, the first is discipline. The second one is pristine vision. And the third is a grateful heart. So I have it on a Post-it. I look at it every single day to remind myself.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. So, all right, guys. Well, I'll see you on the next one. So happy that you came, and I'll take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
All right. Let me see.